Hi, everybody. This is day 1392. We're burning the midnight oil tonight. Um, it's 1392 days since Richard was murdered, and we still don't have his body. So we are still investigating. We have been asked to bring leads. They are still waiting for leads. We were notified that they're waiting for leads. So so we're still investigating because we know what happened to Richard was really really bad, really bad. Let's see if I'm on. And we just, what choice do parents have, right? Just to look the other way? No, no. Especially when God has given you the connections, right? The connections with El Paso. I was born at White Sands Missile Range. I went to school in El Paso, right? I went to Fort Bliss Elementary School, went to MacArthur Elementary School, went to Bassett. You know, um, yeah, just a long history there. A lot of friends in Texas, and so we absolutely have this connection. And then with Rob having 30 years of service, um, we understand the military. We understand when we called and the captain was crying, what that meant, because they don't cry when the first sergeants refused to meet with us, refused to even speak to us. First Sergeant Ruggiero refused to even speak with us. Um, that was telling. And where's the platoon leader? Where's Dallas Hart, right? Um, and they just separated everything. They separated us from Richard's unit. Um, they they failed to even call us. They failed to even contact us. And don't forget, they retaliated against Richard for being a whistleblower. In 2019, this started before the Walmart case. This is very, very important for people to understand that Richard was a whistleblower before August 3rd, 2019, the Walmart mass shooting. There were uh, IG all over the barracks because of Richard. And there were audits going on because of the weapons. There was a weapons problem, and we have that confirmed. So the whole timing of everything has been what we've had to piece together because the transparency and the lack of loyalty, the lack of the leadership, having Richard Six and being forthright with us about what happened, because something else was going on. A secret operation was going on, y'all. A secret operation. And there was a lot of trafficking. There's still a lot of trafficking, human trafficking, narcotics trafficking, weapons trafficking, even body organ trafficking, all the ammunition trafficking, uh, the child pornography, um, any despicable way people want to make some money. They'll sell their soul. They will sell their soul. They will sell more than their soul. They will sell other people's souls. And I hope that people understand that this is selling the country. This is selling the people of El Paso's soul, and also into Juarez selling their soul. It's not enough for them to sell themselves, um, and you know do these despicable things, but they create such a criminal network that it hurts so many other people, so many other, the domino effect. We won't, it's the unseen. We have the seen, the no good, those that are up to no good. And then we have the unseen, all the ramifications of the trafficking crimes. And it's just huge, and it's so destructive. And so Richard was whistleblowing on that. And the I have some theories of why they orchestrated this Walmart mass shooting, why they were willing to kill people. And it's interesting who they killed, because it's not just random people. I will tell you that much. It's not just random people. There's connections. And it's odd that Jesus Melendez, the canine cop, who has a history of reprimands for operating outside of the El Paso Police Department protocol, right? Or policy. I should say policy's the word that's on the open records. Not following policy. And other dereliction of duty. So, and he has a history. It's not just one. It's a history. Um, it's not it's not a coincidence that he is connected to David Johnson, who was gunned down in the Walmart. And then we have Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia. It's not, I don't think it's not a coincidence that Alexander Hoffman was gunned down in the Walmart. I don't think it's an accident. She targeted Richard's case. Jesus Melendez targeted Richard's case. And there's more, right? There's more. Like Danae Katzen targeted Richard's case. Belen Rocha targeted Richard's case. Jay Paulin targeted Richard's case. And, and not only did they target Richard and Richard's case, they targeted the people of El Paso. Okay? That is very clear because of this kind of criminal activity. The ramifications, the unseen, really hurts the people of El Paso. And of course, Fort Bliss. Look at all of the security breaches. Look at the admission, the confession of DES Thomas Kane. And when we wrote the DES, the new DES, Patrick Dyer, we haven't even gotten a response from him. I don't think we got a response from him. I have to ask my husband. I don't remember a response from him, right? And that would be a thing that you would remember if you received a response from the Director of Emergency Services, who's in charge of all the security on Fort Bliss. You would remember that, right? So this is a security breach, and there's something really big behind it, and it's a military operation, because why didn't they why did they not follow protocol, right? Why did they not follow protocol? And what is going on with Dallas Hart that they have to protect him as Richard's platoon leader, who is the prime suspect in the murder of our son Richard? A lot of questions. And God's just amazing grace, because when we received the notification of death, and you might not think, oh, why would that be a blessing? We've known all along. And they, the army, the officials, the the leadership there have given us a very, very difficult time trying to just manage, just to be able to. We weren't even allowed to pay off any debts that Richard had, which is very questionable because we have to look into it because his identity was stolen, to look into his assets, to stop any subscriptions, to stop his credit cards, to just all these things that absolutely could have been done way over 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. Um, getting the open records requests, and then not not being able, just being blocked on every turn, and now, having to, almost 4 years later, because of this notice of death, having a legal right to do it now. It's all about laws, and they know this. It was Tavita Nusa, remember, is also a prime suspect, and that's a CID agent. So he lost his badge, though. He's no longer. He lost his badge, and he was separated from the army. Same thing with Dallas Hart. He was separated also. Um, so uh, you can't cover the truth up forever. And that was just such a blessing to be able to legally try to have some closure, and on certain aspects of the case. His body is still missing, so that's still what we are investigating. Where is it, right? Because we have a lot of indication that they have Richard's remains, and because of Mario Raskin Ortiz's name coming up, and then looking into him and finding out he's illegally in that position, no wonder we can't get some answers, right? And the same thing with the DA being a usurper of the 34th Judicial District. You can't get prosecution. You can't get um, someone to identify the crime, to document the crime, and to prosecute the crime, because there is a usurper. There's an illegal person holding that office. Bill Hicks is illegal. And, so things, you know, uh, are blocking so many people, not just us. If you have an illegal DA, an illegal um, uh, medical examiner who gives you the manner and cause of death, right? What is the manner and cause of death for Richard? Did he handle Richard's remains? What is the manner and cause of death of those that uh, uh, died on August 3rd, 2019 at the Walmart, right? Because he handled those remains. He handled those victims' bodies. So, he's illegal. You can't trust it. It's not legal in the court of law. So his testimony for the cause and manner of death is not valid. And so it throws out all of these capital murder cases. And that's why, Patrick Crucius is still sitting right across from the courthouse in isolation in El Paso, Texas. And his case is not moving forward because it's all botched. It's it's all botched. Now, how do you think the El Pasoans will feel about that? That someone can go in, because he absolutely went into the Walmart. He absolutely surrendered himself. I believe that there's other murderers out there that were shooting that day, or shooting sometime. okay? Because we don't know the cause and manner of death of the victims. We don't know we don't know what time they died. We can't trust anything that comes out of that medical examiner's mouth. He's illegal. And so until, so how do you know? How do you know what really happened? And it's just such a setup of a broken judicial system in the city of El Paso. And, you know, we've been told that he's the one that handled our son's remains. So, um, and I don't know if he wants, he has a lot to lose. His position makes the taxpayers pay him $438,000 a year, and he double dips. When you look into his finances, he's doing very, very well. Very well. You know, it seems that crime pays. And that's not the message that I want to give. But, we got more breaking news because Carlos Mendez, the fake soldier, the imposter soldier, um, that targeted our son's case, that targeted our a whistleblower in our son's case. He himself has records, but what we discovered today is that he had liens. He had even a 30,000, just about, not quite, but just about 29,000 and odd $100, um, close to $30,000 in tax lien. And then right after he attacked our whistleblower, it seems like he had access to some resources because voila, his tax lien was paid. Now that's is that hard evidence or is that circumstantial evidence? Um, Something happened. And we know that our whistleblower was right all along. He absolutely is the one that allowed us to look into Tavita Nusa and Lalani Hart and see the bigger picture of Dallas Hart, Richard's platoon leader. And that has just been right all along. Right all along. And what has happened? Bob Moore has retaliated against the whistleblower and bringing in Major General Eisenhower, James Eisenhower, to retaliate. Otherwise, we would have Richard's case solved. But the question was always, why, how, what, for? And now we know with the Real Fit Fam El Paso, we know it was a pattern of greed that made them participate in this trafficking, the trafficking of arms and ammunition and whatnot, whatnot on Fort Bliss and into Mexico. Easy money. Thievery of the American people, taking advantage of our system, taking advantage of the goodness of the people to want to provide for the military because I lived in Ireland. They have a small military because the people are not willing. They're more pacifists. They're not willing to fund the military. And, Russia, years ago, when my parents worked in the American Embassy over there, my mom worked in the adoptions part of the American Embassy, and my dad was like the go-to guy to get everything prepared for VIPs and fix things and make sure everything was perfect, whatever needed to be done in the embassy. you know they saw the Russian army, they saw the condition, and it was bad. And now everything is flip-flopped. We have a mess in our military, and Russia's getting stronger, and China's getting stronger, and we have a mess. We have a mess because the this people have spoken loud and clear. They are unwilling to volunteer because of too many cases like Vanessa, like Richard, like Caleb, like Enrique, like Austin, like Glendon, like, and go on and on, Lavina, you know, like Elder. Um, Too many, and the word has gotten out that whistleblowers die. They're not protected. And so, so there's security breaches, right? And it's a pattern of greed everywhere. A total pattern of greed. Be it for the money, be it for prestige, be it for the next rank or whatever. It is maybe it's for their own lust, because there is this huge pattern of greed in this sex cult, you know, with the children, 85,000 unaccounted for children. And you have the man behind the curtain, or at least one of them, Jules Chan, working in that emergency intake center, being a part of a response team. There was a response team that maybe they like to do their FitFam exercises at the mall. Maybe it's the Cielo Vista Mall. Maybe it was in the morning of August 3rd, Cielo Vista Mall. They like to do their, you know, their sport. And yeah, my goodness, y'all. It no way. See, this is something that we know in our family. With my dad being an NCO, with my father-in-law being an NCO, with my husband being an officer. 30 years. We absolutely know that you are not an officer in the military with secret clearance running a secretly for-profit social media site, the likes of The Real Fit Fam El Paso. No way. No way. Absolutely no way. It just, and every military person out there, every DOD person out there absolutely knows what I'm saying is no way. You don't do it. And, the Chan brothers, Jules and Jed, their father is Sergeant Major, retired Sergeant Major. There is no excuse. None. Zero. None. And there's more. So much breaking news today. Again, because of the board of directors for El Paso Matters. Now, this is very, very important for everyone to understand. And this is huge breaking news. And, the Fit Fam El Paso, that is so big because, we're being told Dallas Hart's involved. We're being told that Ernest Christopher Grant is involved. We're being told that David Candelera is involved. And so we absolutely let the authorities know. And, hopefully they'll do an investigation and we'll get some answers to this. But we absolutely know that officers in the military were the men behind the curtain, the ones with the day job that were running the Real Fit Fam El Paso and still running it, right? And we would never have known. But see, what happened is when we received the notice of death, Bob Moore ran a story. And that story was defaming Richard and defaming me. And it was omitting very, very important information that changes the whole story. And it was alluding to what we absolutely know is not true. And they were using a publicly debunked attempt to twist the narrative on this case, and not the latest findings in the casualty report that we have. And yet they did not respond to us 15 times, probably more, that we have tried to reach out to Bob Moore and El Paso Matters, who's owned by El Paso Community Foundation. It's supposed to be a charitable organization. You would think that they would have charity, right? Charity for the family of a just declared deceased Fort Bliss soldier. And yet they put out a hit piece, because that's what it is. It's a hit piece. And we thought, okay, we know that Angela Kachurga and Bob Moore and El Paso Matters, who's owned by El Paso Community Foundation, are up to no good. We know that. We know that they have fooled, that they have hypnotized, that they have extorted, that they have really, really bad deeds all over their actions. I don't have to be careful how I say things. We know that. We know that they're just, we didn't know that they're up to no good. We didn't know that FitFam was. And KTSM, we kind of knew, because they rolled out the red carpet for Danae Katzen. And Danae Katzen does not deserve a red carpet. She deserves bars and a striped outfit, or one of those orange jumpers. Those orange jumpers behind striped, bars, right? That's what she deserves for interfering in our son's case. So you have KTSM with Natasha Paloma, who's trying to be Miss Healthy. Look, I have something to say to Natasha Paloma. She can physically be healthy if she wants. But she is making all of El Paso in this area sick. sick because she absolutely knows about the disease, the corruption, the trafficking, the those that are up to no good, the orchestrators. She absolutely knows. She might not know all of it, but she knows. And she's pretending. And so I really hope that you do not vote for her for Miss Healthy because she's all about sickness. Sickness where it counts, and that's in the heart. That's in the soul. That's in the future of El Paso. The future of the area that she's trying to be Miss whatever for. And I'm not saying she's not nice. I'm not saying that she's not healthy. I'm not saying that. I'm saying in her heart, in her intentions. And, she says she's for her children. She's not for her children. She's probably going to get mad at me for saying that, but she's not for her children. 85,000 missing, unaccounted for children from the emergency intake center. You have a DA that is illegal. You have a medical examiner that is illegal. We have dead soldiers from Fort Bliss. We have all kinds of trafficking going on. You have David Condolera up to no good at KTSM, who absolutely knows, rolling out the red carpet for Danae and her being part of that, knowing, wow, that stinks. She didn't vet Danae. Don't tell me that. She's not stupid. She knew who Danae was, but kept it to herself, just like she keeps this sickness to herself and proclaims health. So, maybe I just need to vent a little bit against Natasha Paloma Thompson. I think that's her new name. Look, we have a real problem here. You can't cover it up with a Band-Aid, right? You can't cover it up with a smoothie. You can't cover it up with a bikini. You can't cover it up with, cooking on TikTok. We have a real problem here. We have dead soldiers here. We have children going missing. We have narcotics being trafficked. We have our weapons being stolen from us and trafficked. And on and on. And when you know something, you should come forward. But see, this is the problem. Whistleblowers die. Why? Because we have too many scared people, I think. I don't know. We have a real problem, and we need to come together because we have a whistleblower in our son's case that was right all along, and the criminal machine there, the ones that are up to no good, the ones that want to have a pattern of greed, that want to steal, that want to traffic, that want to control the politics there to get these contracts and whatever. However, there's so many different ways that they illegally manipulate the system to aggrandize themselves, right? So they can do their sex cult stuff, whatever. And I can't say whatever because you're talking about children here. You're talking about women because most of the human trafficking is women. So, and you have Veronica Escobar saying, she's on this committee for women, and she's on the committee for Hispanics, and she doesn't care at all. Probably she'll be the next one to try to run for Miss Fitness, Health, whatever, you know, for that area because, she'll do anything to divert from doing what she's supposed to do. And that is to get a legit DA in there, a legit medical examiner. Well, she needs to go to prison. But we need a legit justice system to hold these criminals accountable. And one of those criminals is the criminal that targeted the whistleblower that stopped our son's case from getting justice. It could have already been done. People could have already absolutely understood and who knows the blessings that happen when we get justice. We haven't had it in so long. I'm ready. And the one that sabotaged was Bob Moore with Leilani Hart, with Carlos Mendez, with David Poche, with Danae Katzen. Danae Katzen at KTSM, so they work kind of in line. And, I would really, really have loved to see all the coverage that was going on at FitFam through these years. Would have been very, very interesting. Because what's behind FitFam is pretty stinky, y'all. It's called breach security for greed. Breaches in security clearances for greed. That's what that's called. And for politics. Absolutely for politics. Greed and politics. And it's such a huge violation. And I want to get to another point. So you have FitFam, you have Bob Moore, you have KTSM, and these are kind of like the three, right? But you have Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, and that is the Juarez connection, who targeted our son's case. Because Richard is a binational crime scene. And she's been up to no good. And let me connect Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia to the board of El Paso Matters. And that is her lawyer, Enrique Moreno. So Enrique Moreno was sitting on the board of El Paso Matters while representing Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, and I think against Walmart. And she had no standing. Because you see, all of this research proves she had no standing. Years and years ago, she divorced her husband. She wasn't living with him. There's a lot of manipulation going on. Now he gets killed, and she wants to have this pattern of greed. And she uses a lawyer that's on the board of El Paso Matters with, Bob Moore is the registered agent. So, you know, they absolutely knew each other. And this explains, this is making the circle come together. So you have the El Paso mess, you have the media mess, you have the Fort Bliss mess, and you have the Juarez. So, and, even though Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, and they're all connected. It's unbelievable. If I wouldn't have charted it, well, really, Rob's doing these charts and doing the letters and getting the open records and all of that, and us piecing it together, we wouldn't see the connections. But we have. And you have the FitFam El Paso connecting Fort Bliss with El Paso, with the media, and then now the media connecting with Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, and Bob Moore again connecting into the law system with Justin Underwood, another lawyer of Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, right? Into manipulating and plotting the removal of Yvonne Rosales, a duly elected, a real DA, right? Who, really legally, as I know the Texas Constitution, she still is the legal DA. It's just that we have a usurper in that office right now called Bill Hicks. And Yvonne Rosales, I hope you put your boots on and tighten up those straps and take back your rightful place. That's the only thing I can say to her. Go and demand your rightful place. Because I think enough people know we have submitted the amicus. We have submitted. I don't know what else we can do. I'm going on here all the time. I depend on the people of El Paso to get the word out. If you want your justice system restored, you need to bring back Yvonne Rosales. Now, does she have some scars from everything that she went through, that Justin Underwood and Bob Moore and Bill Hicks put her through with Omar Carmona, right? And I would say Bernal, Joanne Bernal, who had a hand in getting the other illegal, the medical examiner. She was on the county commission, right? She got the other illegal in with the help of Judge Veronica Escobar at the time. It's just the same old people all the time. And, but it was absolutely Bob Moore with Bill Hicks and Justin Underwood that did their dirty deeds to let Bill Hicks usurp the 34th Judicial District Attorney's Office and put El Paso in a broken judicial situation. Why? They don't want to have to look into the Walmart case, because that is connected, in my opinion, absolutely connected to FitFam. Why do I say that? Because by his own admission, why do you think he took down his LinkedIn? Jules Chan took down Tuganon Chan. I'm getting to know his name really well. He took down just 2 days ago or whatever. He took down his LinkedIn. Why? Because it connects him to the Walmart. It connects him to the COVID mandates. It connects him to the emergency intake center of 85,000 missing children. It connects him to the real world response, emergency response. These are top secret. This is secret clearance stuff. And he's has a pattern of greed, in my opinion. In my opinion. Because absolutely registered agent for FitFam, for the Real FitFam El Paso on Instagram, and whatever. So it's this. We're closing this whole circle up, and if Ernest Christopher Grant is in that paperwork for FitFam, and he's part of the Walmart, wowzer. Yeah, so we've been very, since Mother's Day, this all kind of broke Mother's Day weekend, and we put it up, and immediately, we didn't see it immediately, but we were contacted immediately. Take it down. Um, Jules, you don't want the people of El Paso to know who the man behind the curtain is, who the men behind the curtain, who the people behind the curtain are at the Real Fit Fam El Paso, because you're up to no good. You can't act in secret, especially when you're an officer. Now, I think he's in the reserve. I think he just got out. He got out last year or whatever, and he's in the reserve. I think so. But it doesn't matter. At that time, he was in, and his brother is still in. And there's others. And, all of this is connected. And there is a very evil, very evil secret operation, but it's not a secret anymore. It's not secret anymore. There is an evil operation going on in El Paso, and it is breaking security. And the breaking of security for greed is what killed Richard and so many more, and prevented people from living a nice life, a productive life. So, because I'm telling you, this has got tax implications on it. This has gotten the price of property there, implications on it. Inflation, of course, is in on this. Yeah, it's something else. It really is. Okay. I have one other thing to talk about that's kind of breaking news, and everything is kind of coming together. And that is, in 2020, we received a message. And it's one of those messages you just don't forget. And it was about Richard, of course. And it was from a Chris 59563. Chris 59563. And I just want to let you know we had this huge breakthrough. And the truth is coming out. And, these are pretty smart people. They're IT people. They're behind this social media. You have to be a little bit IT clever to run um, the real Fit Fam El Paso, right? Uh, so these are trained IT people, um, by taxpayers' money for the most part. Maybe Raytheon, um, which we know. See, this is where God has put us in this situation. We understand these contractors. We understand these security contractors. We understand uh, what it means to have um, a, a security clearance. We understand what it means to break a security clearance. We understand what we've been told, what my husband was told, what would happen if he broke security clearance, right? That these are felony crimes. Felony. All right. Um, and, you know, so here we are looking at these security breaches that absolutely is what caused Richard's death, right? The lack of vetting. Look at Bob Moore. He doesn't vet. Leilani Hart, he doesn't vet. Carlos Mendez, he doesn't vet. David Poche, he uses these criminals to go after a very honorable whistleblower, someone that blesses El Paso. See, they want to get rid of the blessings. They want to get rid of the blessings, and they want to just bring in the curses. And this is why I look at what this fake attitude is, just like she's so fake, of Natasha Paloma. Natasha, get real. Get real. You have responsibilities. Get real. Because let me tell you, she absolutely knows things. And they're very unhealthy things. Very unhealthy. Very unhealthy for the people. It's poison. It's poison for the people of El Paso. And she doesn't want to help remove the poison. So, yeah, we're doing the best we can. We're doing the best we can to expose and get rid of this poison. And so if you'd like to help us, if you'd like to join us, absolutely. We can use all the help we can get. And I think Natasha Paloma then would come forward sooner or later, because that's what drives people. The social pressure, the social direction is what drives people. And but our leaders are not paid to be social creatures. They're paid to uphold the law. And how can DA uphold the law when they have a usurper in the office? How can the judicial office of medical examiner uphold the law for the cause and manner of death if they are illegal? How can the military defend the Constitution when they have humongous security breaches and officers that show a pattern of greed and a lack of transparency and a willingness to violate their security clearances? And of course, the DES, Thomas Kane, absolutely violated all of his security clearance responsibilities. And we have Major General Eisenhower violating his responsibilities also. So, yeah, I think it's up to us, to those that want a future, that see a future, that don't like the criminals being bullies, being deadly bullies, and treating children very badly, very badly. So you have to read between the lines, and please pass on this information. Help us. I hope I didn't miss anything, but this Chris 59563, I think we've had a breakthrough. I think we know. And it's, if FitFam would not have posted the hit job on Richard and me, it's really Richard or family, me, you know, and if they would have responded to us right away, or even allowed us to pay them money to put up our story, we would never have known this. And I don't think I ever would have found out who Chris 59563 is. And we would have never known El Paso. See, God wants us to reveal this stuff. He wanted to open up the curtain for all El Pasoans to see who's behind the curtain. And they're wearing uniforms. They're wearing our beautiful uniforms. And they're wearing our uniforms, defiling our uniforms. That's what they're doing. And, so in my opinion, and we need to get them out of those uniforms. And don't tell me you have a sergeant major for a father and you don't understand what's going on. No. Something really rotten, stinky is going on. So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for coming on. I think that is like huge breaking news. And I didn't even mention Anthony Swafford. I didn't even, that's a whole MP thing. I didn't mention the whole El Paso Police Department thing with Melendez, right? Being a dirty cop. Did I mention that? Maybe I did. I didn't mention the dirty FBI supervisory director, Nieto. I didn't mention Nadal Bayim being also an FBI agent, but also the father-in-law of Bradford Bugado, the dirty lieutenant colonel in the G3 of the 32nd AdCom, who that connections is just wild, crazy. I didn't mention the connections of the Walmart case victims with the medical examiner. I didn't mention that. That's another breaking news day, right? So, please continue to listen, continue to share, and continue to pray. We're typing as fast as we can these letters to get the information that we have been uncovering to the authorities. And so they have the information. We're getting them even more information every day. And so they get it, right? And then what do we get told? We get told, oh, they're not going to do anything with it. They'll just cover it up. They'll just sanitize it. They'll just sanitize like they did with Richard. They'll just sanitize. No, we are typing and we're putting it out there very, we're spreading it out. And there's, so they have it. But it's the public that needs to be aware of what's going on, to remember what Lieutenant General Bernabe said. It is the public and social media, right? The alternative media that drives these authorities to do their duty, right? To do their duty. And that goes along with the Bible, really. I mean, it does, you know. I mean, the even the unjust judge will give the poor widow justice, right? After all the nagging. And so here we are. You know, we're just getting started because we've just now put the pieces together and we've just now gotten the notice of death not too long ago, April 24th, 2024. Is there a significance with April 24, 2024? I don't know. Somebody that's in numerology, please tell me, is there some kind of significance with April 24, 2024? I just, am curious. But yeah, that maybe that means start. Maybe that's the starting line for Find Richard Holiday. So until all these almost 4 years, it was just getting us to the starting line. So yeah, so please do not be weary. This is absolutely, you have an vested interest. You have a vested interest into everything that happens in this case because it absolutely has to do with the community there in El Paso and into Juarez. It absolutely has to do with your justice system. It absolutely has to do with your way of life, the quality of life. Um, you know, absolutely. So thank you so much. Please pass this on. Make flyers. Put up flyers. Put up flyers. Um, our son, I think he has a beautiful face. Put up flyers, his beautiful face everywhere. Should we put up like a memorial? Should we put up, what should we do? We have to think about that. Um, but yeah, that would be such a great help. And if you need some flyers, let me know. I'll have some waiting at the printers there, um, and you can just pick them up and pass them around. Yeah, absolutely. So it really is time. We're at the starting line. I think April 24th, 2024 meant start. So thank you so much. God bless you. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing. Bye bye.